We're talking about circles, guys. I gave you this big paper to emphasize all the important things from it. I'm going to give you one for each shape that we're going to do. I made it real big so you know what your notes are supposed to be on. Gentlemen, we've got this, right? Everybody's got one of these. You're supposed to pick it up front. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Go get it right now. Okay, so the important part. Radius stands for the little r. Center stands for HK. It's like a location. It's a point, like 2, -3. So this is your equation. This is your equation. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Okay. All right, now we are going to go through your notes / homework right here. Okay, I'm probably going to do the front page and a couple on the back, and you're only going to have like about 6 problems for homework, so it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so we're going to talk about conics first of all. A conic section is formed by the intersection of a plane and a right circular cone. The angles of the plane creates the type of conic section. We're going to label each section below. What do you think this first picture is of? That shaded area. A circle, good. What do we think this picture is of right here, this shaded area right here?
An oval.
It's like an oval, but we call it another name. We call it an ellipse. An example of an ellipse is like, we know how like the moon goes around the earth and the earth goes around the sun, right? It actually doesn't go in a circle, it goes in an ellipse, right? Kind of that oval-y shape. Okay, anybody know what shape this makes right here? It's a parabola. Okay. Okay, what about these two right here? It's kind of 2 parabolas on top of each other. We call that a hyperbola. Hyperbola. Okay. And we just talked, excuse me, we just talked about the equation for a circle, but this is very important for the rest of this information. Our equation is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Okay? Where hk is the center and r is the radius. Okay? I'm going to do one of these and then I'm going to have you guys try the other 3. Yep. Is that better? Okay. So here we have my center. -4, 6 with a radius of 4. Okay, right here, this is my h. This is my k. That's my r. Now I'm going to put it in this equation. So I'm going to say x minus a -4 squared plus y minus 6 squared equals, what's 4 squared, guys? What's 4 times 4? 16. You can change this double negative right here to a positive, but I just wanted you to see where it came from. Okay, do we want to try one more, or do you want to do the next 3 by yourself? Try one more? Okay, you guys help me out. What am I going to write first for here? This is my center, so 0 is my, what letter? H, K, or R? What is -2? And the radius is R. Okay, so I'm going to have parentheses, and what am I going to put first? X, then what? Minus squared plus, okay, equals, what's 7 squared? 49. Gentlemen in the back, stop talking. Okay, so that's why we have it as plus. Now, you're going to see stuff like this. When you have 0 in this place, you'll usually just see x squared plus parentheses y plus 2 squared equals 49. Okay? You usually won't see that -0, so don't let that throw you off. All right. Why don't you try the next 2 on your own? Remember, you want radius squared. You might want to think about what that is. I'm going to give you just a second or two. Try 3 and 4. All right, guys, I need you to be quiet again in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Silence, please. Shh. Who wants to do this one for me? Number 3. Go ahead.
X minus 1 squared.
Yep.
Minus y.
Plus.
Plus y minus negative 5 squared.
Uh-huh.
Equals 9.
So remember, this is the square root of 10 squared. What happens when we square the square root of something?
5.
So put this in your calculator. Put the square root of 10 squared. Anybody want to try it? Manny, hand me your calculator since you're not going to do it. Okay. All right. So we hit the square root of 10, right? But we're putting it in parentheses and we're squaring it. So you see that? The square root of 10 squared. What do I get? Just 10. So that's my answer right here. Otherwise, that was great. Just got to remember that. Manny, you can have this back. So if we're going to do the next one, who wants to try the next one? Anybody? Anybody? I'm going to do it if you don't want to try it.
X minus 9.
Squared, right?
Yes.
Plus.
Is that 0?
Yep.
Yes.
So it'd be y squared, right? Equals, and this one's a little hard because it's 5 square root 3 squared. So it should be what? Put this in your calculator, guys. What's 5 square root 3 squared?
15.
15. Okay. All right, let's look at 5 and 6, and then I'm going to do 2 on the back. So I've got 4 to do, and they're pretty quick. So let's just be quiet for this so we can get through it. Right here, this is telling me my radius is 2. So I know right away R is 2. The center is this point right here. So that's over negative 3. Down 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 4. So then I just get x minus a negative 3 squared. So that becomes plus. Plus y minus a negative 4 squared. So that becomes plus. Equals 2 squared is 4. You guys okay with what I just did there?
Yep.
Okay. The radius for this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's equals by R. And my point is 0, 1. So that's x squared plus y minus 1 squared equals what? 6 times 6? 36. Okay, any questions about any of those? Because if not, we'll turn it over and we'll do the 2 things we got to do in the back. Okay. You guys ready for a test on just this? Yeah. No? Okay. All right. So we know the distance equals x squared, x2, excuse me, minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And we know the midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. You can always, graph these instead if that's easier. Okay? Okay, so we're going to do one of each. I'm going to do 7 and 11, and then you guys will have the rest for homework. Okay? Number 7, I want to find out what the radius is. Well, I'm given the center, that's my H and K, but I don't have the radius. So I'm going to label this x1, y1, x2, y2, and I'm just going to find my distance. So I'm going to say negative 4 minus a negative 2 squared plus 12 minus 6 squared. Okay, that's going to give me the square root of 40. I just stuck that in my calculator exactly like this. This gives me the square root of 40. That's my radius. So now I'm going to put it into the equation. X minus a negative 2 squared plus y minus 6 squared equals, what's the square root of 40 squared? We did this before. When we take the square root of something and we square it, it becomes that number, right? 40. Just make sure you put a plus sign here, because a negative and a negative makes positive. Okay. For number 11, we're just given 2 endpoints. So we have to find the distance and we have to find the midpoint, because we have to find the radius and the center. Okay? So first let's find the distance for number 11. I'm leaving the answer to number 7 up there. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to do the distance equals negative, we're going to say 5 minus a negative 1 squared plus 6 minus 8 squared. And we get the square root of 40. Okay? Okay, so then my midpoint is going to be x1 plus x2 divided by 2, so negative 1 plus 5 divided by 2. And, quiet please, I'm going to do 8 plus 6 divided by 2. Stop messing around, please, Jalen. Okay, so that gives me 2, 7. Right there, that's my center. So that's my H and that's my K. This is my R. All right? So, therefore, I'm going to get x minus 2 squared plus y minus 7 squared equals the square root of 40 squared gives me 40. Sorry. Okay? So I gave you an example of each kind. You only have to have 3 of the other ones to do. The first 3 are pretty easy. You have to find the distance formula and then plug it into that circle. 12, 13, and 14, you are going to have to find the distance and the midpoint to be able to plug it in. Okay? All right. If you have questions, let me know, but you should work on that the rest of the hour.